I'm going to go through these quadratic word problems one more time because I have a feeling I know what the struggle is or what are some common mistakes. So I'm going to kind of talk you through exactly what's looking for, and then hopefully that will help as you go back and try a few on your own. So let's talk profit. So you're going to look at problems where they give you the equation, and the equation, the X value is going to represent the selling price of whatever your product is. They always call them widgets. And your Y value is going to represent your profit. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to find the vertex of this parabola, and it will always be a parabola, and you'll always find the vertex the same way. So you're going to grab your calculator and you're going to type in the opposite of B over 2A. So your opposite of B is 62. If you want, you do not have to type negatives in because they will cancel. Divided by 2 times your A value. And again, I know your A value is -1. I'm just going to type in 2 times 1 because I know that my negative in the top and the negative in the bottom are going to cancel. The answer that you get when you do this opposite of B over 2A is going to be the price of the object. So if the question asks for what is the selling price, you are going to type in this number. If it is not a whole number, if it's a decimal, it normally asks you to round it to the nearest cent or the nearest penny. However, they ask you to round it, the biggest thing is make sure you round it the way they ask. That is the most common mistake students make, is they know how to find the numbers, but they're not using the right rounded numbers, and it's telling you you're wrong. So if it asks for price, that's where you're putting in. If it asks for profit, in this particular question, that's what it asks for. It asks for to find the maximum profit. If it asks for profit, they want you to take that X value that you have on your calculator screen and plug it into this equation everywhere you see X. So on my calculator screen, I'm going to type in a negative. I'm going to put that 31 in parentheses and square it, and then plus 62 times 31. And whatever that number is for price. If it has decimals, use the decimals and round it the way they say to. And then minus 410. Your answer, when you do that, when you plug your X into it, will be your Y value, which is profit. This one wants profit. It wants it rounded to the nearest dollar. This one was kind of nice because it didn't have any decimals. If it does, just make sure you do round it correctly or it will give you a wrong answer. It is $551, and you're going to submit your answer and say yes. And you are done. So again, your X value that you get is your price, round it appropriately. Your Y value is your profit, round that appropriately. Let me show you a gravity one so you get to see that. So with gravity, I'm going to ask two things. I'm either going to ask the time that it takes to get to the maximum height, which is your X value, or I'm going to actually ask for the max height. I'm going to show you a max height because it allows me to show you everything they could ask you to do. So here is the equation. X in this case is going to represent time in seconds that the rocket has been in the air. And then the Y value is going to represent the height, or how high it is in the air at any particular time. You're going to start this the exact same way. You're going to do opposite of B over 2A. I'm going to ignore the negatives. I know they're going to cancel because I can only get a positive answer for time. So I'm going to take 147 divided by 2 times 16. And that's going to give me the X value of your vertex. That is a time. So that is saying that it takes about 4.5 seconds to get to the peak, to get to the vertex. Here's where rounding is really important since it's a decimal. It wants you to round it to the nearest tenth. Nearest tenth means 1 decimal place. So this wants me to use 4.6 as my time. Now, if the question said, how long does it take to get to the maximum height? You would put in 4.6. That's your X value. This one wants to know what the actual height is. So you have to take that 4.6 and you have to put it into your equation everywhere you see X. And you have to round it the way they tell you to. So they want you to round it to 1/10. You want to put in 4.6. So you're going to type in -16 times, I usually use parentheses. They're not really necessary, but I feel like it keeps everything straight to me, squared, plus 147 times 4.6. And then plus 118. Make sure you type it in right. Your answer will be feet, and it will be the highest it gets. Again, make sure you round it to 1 decimal place, so it rounds to 455.6. So you're going to type that in and submit. And that's what it's looking for. And it will show you a picture. The height gets to a time at 4.6. So if it asks for the time it takes to get to the height, that's what you're typing in. If it actually asks for the height, you're typing in the Y value. Make sure you round it correctly. I really hope that helps with the word problems.